Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. O Lord, there is no limit to your wonderful activities. Anyone who desires to know the limit of your activities is certainly nonsensical. Everyone in this world is conditioned by the powerful mystic potencies. Please bestow your causeless mercy upon these conditioned souls. Purport, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Mental speculators who want to understand the limit of the unlimited are certainly nonsensical. Every one of them is captivated by the external potencies of the Lord. The best thing for them is to surrender unto Him, knowing Him to be inconceivable, for thus they can receive His causeless mercy. This prayer was offered by the inhabitants of the higher planetary systems, namely the Jana, Tapas and Satyalokas, who are far more intelligent and powerful than humans. Vishvam Samastam is very significant here. There are both the material world and the spiritual world. The sages pray, both worlds are bewildered by your different energies. Those who are in the spiritual world are absorbed in your loving service, forgetting themselves, and you also. And those in the material world are absorbed in material sense gratification, and therefore also forget you. So I just want to repeat that. Those in the spiritual world absorbed in loving service, forgetting themselves, and you also. And those in the material world are absorbed in material sense gratification, therefore also forget you. That's an interesting statement. No one can know you because you are unlimited. It is best not to try to know you by unnecessary mental speculation. Rather, kindly bless us so that we can worship you with causeless devotional service. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksusun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupakadam Mayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Siyuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gauranghi Radhe Brindabaneswari Brisabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. So this is a fascinating purport, fascinating subject matter. Krishna, he is unlimited, and the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam is trying to explain in the 9 cantos that Krishna has unlimited power, and he's unlimited in all aspects of his personality, his creation, his energies, his incarnations, Anantarupam. They're all unlimited. And so our duty as sadhakas in hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam is to try to touch our understanding of the unlimited, so that then we can understand when we hear that Krishna has his pastimes, then we can appreciate them in a whole different context. If we just hear immediately the pastimes of Krishna without understanding his unlimited potencies, we will misunderstand or minimize or feel that they're mundane, or so many doubts we may have and so many misunderstandings. Krishna is, although he's unlimited, he's appearing as he makes his appearance in this material world. So how can someone who is unlimited, eternal, make an appearance? Even that is bewildering for us, bewildering for the great scholars. But we should understand Krishna's appearance and disappearance are actual a pastime. Krishna doesn't disappear. Just like the sun, Prabhupada gave this class in 1967 in New York, that the sun is always moving across the world and it never stops shining. It may stop shining for us for the night time, but it's shining somewhere on this planet. And Srila Prabhupada says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that just as the sun is moving constantly, always ever effulgent, ever present, so Krishna's pastimes are going on one after another at every second in some universe or another. Means that as soon as one pastime finishes, at the next second it starts again in another universe. So therefore it's Nitya Leela, it's eternal, because it's constantly going on. So Krishna lives for 125 years. He appears for 125 years on this planet. So if we divide them 125 years into years and months and hours and seconds, then we get an idea of how many universes there are. You know, how many seconds are there in 1 hour? I looked it up, it's 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. So we can understand that at every second it's going on. Prabhupada said that every moment on the planet, just like now it's 8 o'clock, and then it'll become 1 minute past 8. So somewhere on the universe, just on this planet, it's always 1 minute past 8 somewhere. Now if you look this up, you know, it's 1 minute past 8 in UK, where is it 1 minute past 8 elsewhere in the world? And it will say, oh no, this doesn't exist because there's a gap. So what they did was time was standardized internationally and locally. Previously, every town and city had sundials. So when it was 1 minute to 8 in London, then in Swindon, it was 2 minutes to 8 still. You understand? So there's a 4-minute difference in time from the east of Britain to the west of Britain. But when they invented the train and they invented the clock, then they made everything standard so that the trains could run on time and it could all be standardized. But time was never like that. Time was always incremental, second by second. So for every degree of longitude, there's 4-minute difference. So a quarter of that longitude is 1 minute, 25% of the longitude. So we've got to go back in time, and Srila Prabhupada is infallible, his statement is perfect. And so when we understand this idea of time and how it's been standardized all over the world into sections of half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, then we can understand that the sun is shining, the time is 1 minute past 8 somewhere in the world at every moment. So similarly, Krishna's pastimes, like he's being chased by his mother and tied to the grinding mortar, as soon as that pastime finishes within 1 second it's happening in another universe. So Krishna's pastimes are all eternal, they're all going on all over millions of universes. Tad Brahmaniskalam anantam ashesha bhutam. Now, everything about Krishna is unlimited. He's also in the spiritual realm, his pastimes are going on. There's almost identical his pastimes in the spiritual world. So, if we analyze everything, material energy, spiritual energy, it's all unlimited. Just like if we ask, how many hairs are on your body? You don't know, right? Krishna knows. And if you try to count them, like just here on my wrists, when you get old, you get more and more hairs start to grow on your hand, like a werewolf, you know. This material body, it's such a disgusting thing. So if you count the hairs, you cannot even count on your hand how many hairs there are. So this is Krishna's creation. There's 8,400,000 species, and within each species, there's subspecies. I just learned recently there's a bee, it's called a leaf cutter. And it cuts circles out of leaves and puts them in its hive for insulation. So within each species, there's unlimited different categories, different subspecies within species. And then what to speak of the animals having different forms and different qualities and different activities. And when you get to know animals, they all have different personalities. If you work with the cows, Sadashiva's not here, but we have Madan Prabhu and Sadashiva that work with the cows, other devotees. Each cow has got a different personality. People have got pets, the dog. So it's all unlimited. You cannot even conceive. And that's Krishna's material energy. What to speak of his spiritual energy. So the devotees, they don't have any problem when they hear that Krishna becomes this giant boar, Varahadev, and Krishna is enjoying. Because another quality of Krishna is he's got unlimited potency to enjoy. So he's enjoying like anything. He's the supreme enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam. He's the supreme enjoyer. He takes unlimited forms. Nanavataram akared bhuvaneshu kintu. He's enjoying as Vamana, beautiful dwarf brahmachari walking into the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. And he's enjoying Bali Maharaj's surrender. He's enjoying Shukracharya becoming converted. Shukracharya says, he changes his mind, mantranam. So when your holy name is chanted, everything is auspicious. So he's enjoying as Varahadev, diving into the water and glancing at the sages around the universe and the demigods. He's enjoying that reciprocation of love. So all his incarnations he's enjoying. He's enjoying as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Before he manifested his devotional side of his personality, he was a Nimai Pandit, the great scholar. And he would enjoy defeating the people in debate, and he would tease the Vaishnavas, but he would never offend anyone. He was so wonderful that if you were defeated by him and your pride was smashed, you felt happy. Keshav Kashmiri, he was Digvijay Pandit. He was the greatest scholar in the whole of India. He had an umbrella when you defeat, there's 4 places of learning in that time in India. And when you defeat the greatest scholar in that location, you get a gold square on your umbrella. So he had 3 gold squares. He was going to Navadvip, his final destination, to establish him as the Digvijay. Dig means direction. Vijay, all conquering in every direction, the greatest scholar in India. You see these old films from the 50s, Indian films. The whole film is just debates with 2 sages or 2 Brahmins. They're walking on the beach, and the whole film is just a conversation or 3 or 4 conversations. And in them days, if you defeated someone in debate, you had to become their disciple. So this Digvijay scholar, he composed 100 verses in glorification of the Ganges, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found 3 faults in one verse 60 something, And this Keshav Kashmiri couldn't believe it. His mind was blown. He went to other places in India. The scholars couldn't even understand what he was talking about. So he went home, he had a dream, and Saraswati, his worshipful deity, she appeared and she said, "This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, source of all incarnations." And Keshav Pandit came the next day and surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, "The Shastra says that you are free from pride." Krishna is free from pride. But he's the greatest. But still, I feel so blissful that you've defeated me. Therefore, I know that the Shastra is true. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the goal of knowledge is not to become the greatest, because this reputation will die with your body. It's useless. So the goal of knowledge is to become a devotee of Krishna and engage in devotional service. Give up these material desires. So this is the devotees. We give up these material desires, and we understand that all Mahamaya. Here it says that anyone who desires to know the limit about your activities is certainly a fool. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo namedaya bahuna shrutikatena, that you could be the greatest scholar, you could be the greatest erudite, full of knowledge, greatest scientist. You can do anything. You can hear, you can study, you can chant mantras, do yagya, tapa. Nothing will make Krishna appear. Krishna only chooses who he appears to. So he only appears to his devotees by their devotional service. So in the material world, we are bewildered. Yaya samohita jiva atmanam tri gunatmakam paro. That although we're transcendental, we're completely bewildered. And we're forced into unlimited miserable conditions, and we're suffering and trying to enjoy the material energy. But there's absolutely no enjoyment in this material world. It's simply illusory. Even if we have material success, we have to grow old. And when we grow old and our body becomes ugly and diseased, nobody wants to really know us, and our family members get bored of us, and all our prestige and happiness is become defeated. Para bhavas tavad abodo jato. That everything we do to try to be happy in this world is defeated over and over again, life after life, because we are bewildered. We're thinking, I'm a material product, I'm born, this is my parents, this is my home, this is my family, this is my wife, this is my children, this is my bank account. And we identify ourselves as part of this material world. But we have nothing to do with the material world, nothing to do with this material universe, nothing to do with this family, nation, anything. With nothing to do with this material body. This is Mahamaya. Naham prakashasavasha yoga maya samavrita. So everyone is bewildered by this material modes of nature, and they're suffering and suffering so much miseries. Therefore, when one meets the devotees, he gets to understand that he's not the body, but he's part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme, unlimited personality. And Yogamaya Samavrita, that Yasyamau Sugarit Sarit Varaya, Maya Balam Yoga Maya, I forgot the verse. So we have to come under the spiritual energy by devotional service. So this spiritual energy, everything is, in devotional service is spiritual. When we engage our body, our senses, in bowing down, seeing the deity, the building, our body, our senses, all become gradually spiritualized, even by the external processes of devotional service. So therefore the Bhagavatam starts, if you don't walk to the temple, your legs are like tree trunks. If you don't see the deity, your eyes are like peacock feathers. If you don't hear the glories of the Lord, your ears may as well be conch shells, or what does it say? Snake holes. Snake holes. Somewhere else it says conch shells. If our mouth doesn't glorify, it's like the croaking of a frog. So non-devotees, they're in a coma. They're like in a spiritual coma. You know, they're completely dead, asleep, like dead people. They're walking around, it all looks fantastic. But it is simply the flickering of material energy. For example, if we light a candle, just like in Dhammadasakam we light candles, we say, here is the light of the candle. But at every moment, the wick is being destroyed and the flame is coming again and again and again. Or we say, here is the water of the river. But immediately that water has moved on. It's gone. So it's like that. So everything we touch, everything we see, every conception we have of happiness is all moving and destroyed. So by the process of devotional service, by this surrender, Daivihaya Sigunamayi Mama Maya, same word is there, Maya, one's energy, the energy of matter recedes, it reduces, it goes away proportionately to one's endeavor to surrender to Krishna. This is a very difficult process actually, to surrender to Krishna. Extremely difficult. It's exceedingly difficult because we have so many doubts, we have so many material desires, and it's Kali Yuga. Kala Kaliya Bhalina Indriya. Yeah, Indriya, the senses are very, very strong in Kali Yuga. And therefore we are suffering. And the path of bhakti is strewn with countless thorns. It's very painful, the path of bhakti, because our egos are so ginormous. Kali Yuga, we're all big sense enjoyers. We all want to be supreme. And we carry this over also in our spiritual life. Therefore we have to be very thorough and humble, and try to surrender more and more, give up desire for prestige, respect the Vaishnavas, and be extremely attentive in chanting the holy name of Krishna. So Krishna's name is also unlimited. Just the fact that we chant this mantra every day, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. This is proof that it's a spiritual vibration. How can you sit there every day for 2 hours and chant this mantra? How can you do it? It's proof that it's spiritual. So Krishna, he is unlimited, Om Purnamada Purnamadam. So although this creation, we see it's complete, everything is working perfectly, it's a complete whole, our bodies, the digestion, the food, it all's working perfectly. Millions of universes come from him, but he remains the complete whole. So when you approach Krishna in his Vrindavan pastimes, just like it says here, that the devotees in the spiritual world, they also become bewildered. And they also forget Krishna, which is very interesting. So, because the pastimes of Krishna is that he's friends with these unwedded ladies, they're young girls, and when they're with their elders, they have to act like they are not attached to Krishna. So they have a sadhana, the gopis, they have a sadhana how to forget Krishna, so that their elders don't guess that they're meeting him privately. So that's their practice. How sometimes Radharani is performing some household chores in her marital home, and she starts to accidentally sing about Krishna. So then she realizes that her elders are listening, and she becomes very embarrassed. So we cannot take these pastimes as mundane. So this human form of life is meant for realizing this Krishna and his pastimes. So of all Krishna's qualities, Krishna is unlimited, his qualities are unlimited, and each quality is unlimited. And because he's unlimited, part of his quality is that he becomes limited. So if you say the unlimited cannot become limited, you immediately limit that which is unlimited. You see? So Krishna's part of his unlimited is that he becomes limited. His mother holds him on her lap, she looks in his mouth, sees the whole universe, and then again she forgets that and just cuddles him like a small child. And Krishna enjoys. He's enjoying. What's he enjoying most? He doesn't enjoy. Never think that Krishna enjoys sense gratification. Sometimes a devotee will say, oh, he's allowed sense gratification and we're not. But this is a wrong conception. Krishna would be the greatest hypocrite in the universe. He's preaching to everyone that sense gratification is bad. So why would he engage in sense gratification? He does not. It appears to be sense gratification. The language, the description that appears to be, he's drinking, he's in dancing, he's kissing, he's playing his flute, and he's in ecstasy. But it's all loving exchanges. And that love is unlimited. So when the devotees, they want to see Krishna, they think, when I see Krishna, everything will be fine. But then they go and see Krishna, and they just want to see him unlimitedly more. It increases and doesn't decrease. Just like if I haven't seen my best friend for 2 years and then I see him, I'm so happy to see him. But after a couple of days, it'll become like, okay, yeah. We get used to familiarity. But the spiritual world is the opposite. When you see Krishna, you want to see him even more. Pibancho drishibi, yasyananam makara kundala charukana, brojat kapola, subagam, sabilasahasam nityotsavam tatripu drishibi drishibi nareo namas nareo nimesh. So the devotees, they curse the blinking of the eye. They want to drink Krishna's form through their eyes, and they curse the blinking because it's so intense, because his beauty is unlimited. All his qualities are unlimited. Seeing Krishna is like seeing a festival. He has his Sundarya Sangraham. All beauty meets in the form of Krishna. Krishna's form is itself the absolute truth, containing all beauty, all knowledge, all wealth, all fame, all strength. And in each of these qualities are also unlimited. All the planets are floating in this vast universe of the sky. If you go to New Mayapur in France and you go to Mangalati, you walk outside to go into the main building, you see millions and millions of stars. It's incredible. Here we have so much light pollution, you only see a few of the main ones. But there's millions of them. It's quite a stunning thing, and that's just one universe. So, what was I saying? Yeah, Krishna. So, when you hear him speak, you want to hear more and more and more. And the words are so wonderful, and the quality of his voice. He's very pleasing talker. He's very fluent. He's very sweet. All parts of his body are very sweet. He is unlimited strength, like that. Krishna's unlimited qualities. And he has unlimited ability to enjoy, and he has unlimited appetite for love. For loving pastimes. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to Jagannath Puri and dances at Rath Yatra, he experiences some of that unlimited love. And you see that he becomes, and then he has devastation. He falls on the floor, tears come out of his eyes like rivers. He becomes bewildered. He chokes. He can't even speak. Jug. He can't even say Jagannath. He becomes totally overwhelmed with the ecstatic love of Krishna. So our duty is to attain this ecstatic love, kriti sajja bhavet sajja, that the goal of our sadhana is to attain ecstatic love. Do you want to write that down? What's the goal of sadhana? Bhava bhakti, yeah. Actually bhava. Bhava is the early adorning, the awakening of prema. It's considered to be like one ray of sunlight, and prema is like the whole sun. Just imagine. So our process, sadhana, is to get to this stage of feeling spontaneous love for Krishna. And we just need one drop. What is that? Yada lila amrita, eka bindu. Just one drop of Krishna's pastimes will be sufficient to uplift you. Sakrinmana Krishna padada vindaya niveshitam tad guna ragiya iha nateyamam pasha bitascha tadpatam. Sakrinmana Krishna, sa eka, just once. Absorb your mind in Krishna. Surrender to Krishna, just once. If you do this, then you'll never see Yamaraj. You'll never even have hellish dreams. You will be free, because the ultimate issue is that Krishna is the whole and you are a part. You're part of Krishna. You're part of the unlimited spiritual energy. Mamai Vangsa Jiva Loka. So this Krishna consciousness isn't an option. It's not an option that you can leave. Every living entity is obligated to worship Krishna and surrender to Krishna. Mundane religion is not going to help anyone to attain the spiritual world, because they're all after material enjoyment. The jiva soul, he just wants to satisfy his belly and his genitals, and association with such materialistic persons is very, very, very bad. You must associate with saintly persons. You cannot even see the face of the materialistic enjoyer. This is contaminating. So therefore, when we're on the social media, looking at Instagram and all these things, it's so contaminating. It's so full of material sense enjoyment, enjoyers. We shouldn't even see them. Bhagavatam said we shouldn't even look at someone who's not wearing tilak. So these heavy statements are there to let us understand where we are. We're in this horrible material world. And by devotional service, everything becomes auspicious and wonderful. Even our family life, our homes, our duties, our opulences, they all become connected to Krishna. And this is how we survive. So we're bewildered. The devotees, they bewildered by Krishna's unlimitedness, and they surrender. And in that surrender, they feel happy. And the materialists, they try to understand by their blunt material senses, and they just become more and more bewildered. So I'll stop there. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and we've got a few minutes for comments or questions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Deepak Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you for another enlightening class. You mentioned that Krishna does not engage in sense gratification. But at the same time, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says the perfection of our existence is to satisfy Krishna's senses.
Yes.
So Krishna's
senses are spiritual.
Yes.
So they're spiritual and transcendental. They cannot be satisfied by sense gratification. The senses are satisfied by bhakti. Rishikena savapadi vini muktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikesha sevanam bhakti. Krishna is satisfied only by devotional service. And that devotional service in the transcendental realm is full of love, it's full of priti, it's full of pranaya, it's full of prema, it's full of loving feelings. Therefore, the devotee captures Krishna. He controls Krishna because Krishna is controlled by love. And only with that love was Krishna satisfied. You can perform, you can offer Krishna all your wealth, you can offer him nectar drinks and dress and build him temples, but if you don't have any devotion for Krishna, Krishna is not satisfied. So if a big wealthy man comes, I'll give you Krishna, but he has no actual bhakti, then Krishna is not. But if one child comes, offer one flower, and the flower, is just half dried, Krishna is satisfied. So Krishna's senses are not like our senses. They cannot be satisfied merely by sense pleasure, only by bhakti.
I have a second question, if that's all right.
Yes.
Krishna is unlimited, so his pastimes are unlimited. So I assume that the pastimes in the Bhagavatam are just a tiny fraction of Krishna's Leela. So what other scriptures are there that carry on from the Bhagavatam?
No, each verse from the Bhagavatam, you could write another book the size of the Bhagavatam. Especially just like one devotee has written Venu Gita. Now Venu Gita is only 20 shlokas, but he's written a book like this. And you could write another book on the same chapter of Bhagavatam. So all the pastimes are unlimited, and Vrindavan Das Thakur says, in 100 years you cannot describe the pastimes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed in half an hour. So the pastime is there, but there's so much going on. And there's so many pastimes. So many. So the Vedas are there, covering the pastimes. But even they're limited. Who can, there's no end. Even Krishna cannot understand his own glories, because he's also expanding unlimitedly. Ekopya Soda Sayatam Jagarandakoti. Millions of universes come from him, and he enters into each atom. So within his body, the whole universe is there within every atom. Who can understand? Our only business is to surrender. Paramakruna Prabhu.
just a couple of clarifications. One in the text itself. Conditioned souls. Sorry, let me have a look at my. Can't see from there.
Everyone in this world is conditioned by powerful mystic potency.
Yes, so the term potency is this plural.
Uh-huh.
So maybe if you can elaborate on that. And in the purport, also maybe if you can maybe clarify, the personalities in the spiritual world forget themselves and forget Krishna both. So if you can also explain that as well.
Yes. First of all, the mystic potencies. So material Krishna's energies are divided into three: external energy, internal energy, and marginal energy. So each of these energies has unlimited potencies within them. They have a single... Actually, there's only one energy, Krishna's energy. But then the sages divide it into three. So material energy is there, and it has so many features and qualities. 3 modes of nature, and those 3 modes of nature multiply. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times, etc. So within each potencies, there's unlimited categories. And also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj says that when one considers Krishna, he considers the categories also. There are different categories. So Mathura, Dwarka, Vrindavan, there are differences. So in this material energy also. Yet Brahma Niskalamananta Amashesha Bhutam. Unlimited planets. On each planet there's a different atmosphere, different quality of life, different types of sense gratification, different types of worship of the Supreme Personality of God. They're all described in the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam. So it's unlimited. Brihad Bhagavatamrita already also. So that's potencies, yeah? Now, this forgetting, the spiritual world, they forget Krishna, this is difficult to understand. And I'm trying to... I gave one example, that the gopis, they force themselves to forget Krishna. They try to forget Krishna because they're so bewildered. For example, when Krishna goes away to Mathura, the devotees are suffering great separation in Vrindavan. And sometimes Krishna appears in their mind, and they think he's there, but then he disappears. So they say, better that you stay away. Because when you appear and then disappear again, it's like lightning. For one moment, I see everything, it's great. But then as soon as the lightning stops, it's more black than when the lightning was before. So they're blackened. If you're in the lightning, it's bright, but then you get more dark. So they're suffering so much separation. They have rather that Krishna stay away. As far as the devotees in the spiritual world forgetting Krishna, I think there's a lot in there that I'm not understanding. I don't know. Prabhu?
There's another aspect of forgetting Krishna in the spiritual world. In the material world, as you were saying, Mahamaya is making you forget Krishna. In the spiritual world, Yogamaya is making you forget Krishna so you can have a loving relationship with him. And in different parts of the spiritual world, that Yogamaya is operating in a slightly different way to help you remember Krishna, or forget
that's
Krishna.
Good. I forgot to mention that in my class, that everywhere in the spiritual world, Prabhupada said in Vaikuntha, there's no Yogamaya. So in Dwarka, in Mathura, in Ayodhya, in Vaikuntha, they all have this awareness that here's God. He's the supreme God. But in Vrindavan, they have no such conception. They don't even think that he's God. They just think he's one of us. And they think they're in the material world. They think that Krishna's birthday, Krishna took birth, he had his childhood pastime, may he be glorious, may he live a long life. So Krishna's literally got the best of both worlds. There's no time when he has his birthday, he doesn't age 1 second. The sun rises, sun sets, but no one ages. It's eternal present. but they have an idea that they're in the material world. So they're enjoying both dimensions simultaneously. And another way they forget Krishna is when Krishna separates themselves on the Ras Leela, the gopis, they become absorbed in Krishna's pastime so intensely that they think, I am Krishna. So in one respect, they're forgetting themselves. And
it's also an example of Uddhava. Uddhava, how when he speaks to Nanda Baba when he comes to see the gopis, and he's trying to tell Nanda Baba that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said, you're not very learned. You're trained by Brihaspati, but I see that you're like a child, because Krishna is my son. So he's forgetting, because Krishna is the other way around as well. Krishna is my son. You do not know anything, Uddhava.
Yeah, this is a good point, that this is one way they forget who Krishna is, because they're so absorbed in loving him. They forget his aspect of Godhead. Huh? Yes, absolutely. Krishna forgets himself. He's not acting. He's completely absorbed in his Leela. So this loving pastimes reach their pinnacle in Vrindavan, and one of the reasons they do that is because Krishna is able to put aside his identity as a supreme power and become absorbed in just being himself with his loving associates. This is the Yoga Maya Samavritam. And it's so attractive that even Krishna's other forms like Narayan and his other energies like Lakshmi, they also want to see Krishna, they want to enter into the pastimes, so they too can be free to enjoy the loving happiness of Krishna consciousness, free from any other obstacles. One of the obstacles is the awe and reverence. Knowledge of Krishna's divinity reduces love. It makes love formal. Where the forgetfulness of Krishna's divinity is there, then the love is sweet. Therefore it's called Vrindavan is the abode of sweetness. It's everywhere saturated with this sweetness. Vrindavan is a supreme abode. Arajo Bhagavan Brajesha Tadhama Vrindavanam. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Please.
So you were saying that the goal of sadhana bhakti is bhava bhakti. So then I was wondering, how do we get prema?
Kriti sajja bhavet sajjam bhava sadhana vida nichyasidasya bhavasya prakacham iya sajjati. So in bhava bhakti there is also a sadhana. Actually it's not exactly sadhana because bhava is perfection, but they still chant Hare Krishna, they still hear pastimes, and they still engage in devotional service, but it's all done in spontaneous attraction. It's a stage of perfection, but it's not full perfection because there are so many stages within bhava. So you get prema when Krishna gives it you. So there's no sadhana for attaining prema. You get sadhana to attain bhava, and from bhava Krishna then comes and just bestows prema upon you. Therefore it's his mercy. There's no way to attain it. You just have to wait for when Krishna gives it to you.
I had another question also. You said it's very difficult to surrender to Krishna. So I was wondering then, if Krishna wants us to surrender to him, and it's described that Krishna is like a bird, he's sitting on the tree just waiting for us to look to him. So when we finally do look to him and we want to surrender to him, Why does he make it so difficult for us?
Yeah. So, one thing is, one time my wife was suffering with some illness, and she said she was really suffering, and some skin problems, and not sleeping, and really suffering. And she said, can't we just go back to Godhead when we join? Because when we join, we're so fired up, everything's so fantastic. Many devotees, they have darshan of Krishna when they join. Krishna just shows them himself in some form or other. They just become unbelievably fully convinced. So then you see where are all the devotees. They're all over the place. They've gone through so many things. They've had so many problems and difficulties, and then everything like that. So asamudva, this path of bhakti, is the inconceivable path. So we've been in the material world for so long. So one of the proof that this is the real thing, that Krishna's and consciousness is the ultimate, is that it's so difficult. If it was too easy, our hearts wouldn't be ready. Just like if I put you, say I died now and took birth as a dog, it would be very difficult for me to be a dog. Therefore, in between that birth and the dog's birth, I have to go to the hellish planets, and I have to be punished and suffering in such a way so that when I become a dog, I feel I'm happy. The dog feels it's happy. He's chained up. He likes the chain. He feels satisfied that the master is looking after me, giving me a few scraps to eat, and his life is abominable, but he thinks he's happy. So similarly, we cannot just go to the spiritual world without purging all the disease in our heart. We left Krishna, came to this material world, hridrogam, and we developed this horrible disease in our heart of forgetfulness of Krishna, trying to imitate Krishna, to be the supreme enjoyer. So it takes time. And Srila Bhakti's Brahma Samhita, the last verse, or second last verse perhaps, the Shastra says that by slow degrees this theistic knowledge, this theistic path, by slow degrees burns up all the impurities in the heart. And Prabhupada says usually it takes 2 or 3 lifetimes to go back to Godhead. It's so difficult. So the point is that if we're here in the material world, if we're here in ISKCON, we have some service, we have friendships with the devotees, we have some status, some position in terms of I'm accepted here. If you walk here, we accept you. You can go and take prasadam. Maybe you have a bed to sleep in. You should take this very, very, very valuable, and you should always appreciate. Because as soon as you step out into the material realm, away from the devotees, to struggle, pay the rent, and be Krishna conscious, and bring up a family, so difficult. So difficult. Extremely difficult. Therefore the temple, the ashram, is the most sacred place, and should take it seriously. So the more seriously we take it, the quicker we can go back to Godhead. As soon as we become lax, indifferent, then we'll go back to Godhead slowly. And if you preach, you go back to Godhead very fast.
The process seems difficult because Krishna gives himself to one who gets love.
Oh yeah, that verse. Muktim dadati kahichit sma bhakti yoga. Krishna gives liberation very easily. Very good. Krishna gives liberation very easily, but he won't give bhakti, because when he gives bhakti, he comes under your control. So he's very, very careful. Of course, he's expert. He'll never give bhakti to the wrong person. Parama, last point then. Let's wrap it up.
Prabhu, I don't know if I heard you properly. You said there's no Yoga Maya in Vaikuntha.
That's correct.
So if they're not under Mahamaya, they're not under Yoga Maya. Or what state are they in Vaikuntha?
They're under Daivi Shakti, divine energy of the Lord. They're in the spiritual realm. They're under the Sajjidananda energy. I mean, it may have another name.
Is there a difference between Yoga Maya and the internal potency?
Yes. The internal potency is the potency of devotional service, which gives pleasure to the Lord. And Yoga Maya, as mentioned here, is the potency that allows pastimes to take place where, pastimes of intimacy, pranaya. So when Krishna's friend, he's with Subal or Sridham, Sridham says, "Yeah, you Krishna, you rascal," and he climbs on his shoulders and he hits him with a stick. You're my horse, take me across the fields. So Krishna goes. So this is Yoga Maya. In the Vaikuntha, they will never do such a thing. They're in awe and reverence, singing the glories of Lord Narayan, Vaikuntha-pati. Like that. Quickly, yeah? Closing comment.
Closing comment, because you mentioned it.
Yes.
About Kartik. An offering of a candle is not accepted anywhere in Kartik Mahatmya or in any temple in India. Nobody offers candles.
Ghee.
It's a ghee wick or a sesame oil lamp. Candles are made from animal fat, tallow. That's unofferable. Just wanted to close with that comment.
Hare Krishna. When the movement started, we had no money, but everything was cooked in ghee. Now we have tons of money, and everything's cooked in sunflower oil. The worst thing for your health. Number one worst thing. Worse than white sugar. Hare Krishna. Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahaprana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.